Alright, welcome everybody to working on cars with Sam in quarantine. So this right here is the 2005 Accord. This is the current project that I'll be working on and documenting. It's in pretty good shape. There are little rough areas that we're going to work on, and I'll point those out to you throughout this video because this is episode 1 of this series. So right off the bat, I want to note that this car has close to 150,000 miles on it, second owner, and it just needs a little refresh. And now with quarantine and all this time, I think it's appropriate that we get to it, since Ryan and I started driving recently, and this is the car we'll mainly be driving, so anything to help it out with just the general daily driving experience and improve it. So with this car being just over 15 years old, it's going to need a little bit of work, and so I've decided to modernize a few things about it. The first thing we're starting with modernizing it would be LEDs all around, so tail lights, turn signals, everything, and so that's the plan for now, except for the main high beam and low beam lights. I don't have LEDs purchased or ready for that yet, but at some point we'll get to that and replacing the headlight housings, because no matter how many times Ryan has cleaned them off, they're going to become yellow again just because they're old. Number 2, the radio inside doesn't work. It's not like a big concern, but it would be nice to have a working radio and just have everything working as it should. I think it's just a fuse somewhere. If not, I'd really love to know what the actual problem is, so we'll be taking a look at that. Next on the list, this car has a parasitic battery drain, so I did test it when the car sits for more than 3 or 4 days with a completely full battery. You're going to come back and find that you won't be able to unlock it with the key fob, and the lights will be very dim, and so the battery is dead, it's drained, and so it won't start. So you need to figure out what the parasitic drain, or what is pulling current while the car is off and locked. And I already have a good idea. I kind of did a test for this months ago, and so I've pinned it down to a fuse already, but I think we'll have a full video on me trying to figure out what's going on there so we can stop the drain, or figure out if we need to install even a kill switch for this. The next thing I also see doing on this car, and I have gotten stuff for that you guys will see later at the workbench, is doing stuff with the paint. So it is 15 years old, obviously scratches, dings, marks. There's a dent in the hood there, and even like a little rust spot over here, and just things that need to be cleaned up in general, so we're going to be doing that as well. Chris Fix, if you have not seen his videos on YouTube, he does a whole bunch of how to do it, tutorials on paint and stuff like that. So I'll be following one of those guys and giving it a go on my own, with all the detailing products, and see where we can get this looking from here. It is dusty. It has been sitting for a few days, actually more than a few, and just being kind of prepared to be worked on, and so we'll give it a full clean, and that'll be a separate video on its own, working on the paint, trying to pull out, like there's one dent back there I think I can get out, and just see if we can bring most of this paint kind of back to life and make it fresh, remove the scratches and all that. And there's a bunch of other stuff I'm forgetting. I haven't gone over maintenance yet, so here's kind of a list of things that have been done to the car and when they were done. There's not a whole lot. I mean, it's pretty good for 15 years of owning it, the mileage and whatnot, and so it's done fairly well. I mean, the two kind of bigger things were the CV axles, and gosh, I gotta look at the list here. CV axles and tires. It's really about the extent of like the more expensive maintenance that this car has received. So it's doing pretty well, and there's not a whole lot to touch up on the mechanical side. Things we're also changing too, the shifter bushings. I have some on order from Hybrid, and they're gonna show up early next month. Today is April 19th. So I'm not sure when you're watching this video, but they're still on the way, and I'm waiting for them to come in, and so we'll do the shifter bushings because this is a 5-speed manual trans car, and so I'm hoping that we can replace those little rubber bits with something aluminum, and do preventative maintenance that way. In the future, this car will need a clutch. The stock clutch is still in there. Things like mat or slave cylinder, whatever, you know, all that with the clutch will be done eventually. It's not of concern right now. It drives fine. The throwout bearing does not feel like it's seizing. I do know what a throwout bearing seizing looks like and what it would feel like because it has happened to me before. Cue the video of the Subaru dying last year, right here. So it's not doing any of that yet. So it's doing all right. And so everything that we'll cover throughout filming this is just going to be maintenance and kind of bringing it back to life and doing some modernization and, you know, kind of fixing all the little annoyances and just things in general to make it a perfect, again, a perfect daily car. We're inside now. I'm going to set the keys apart. So here's what we're looking at. Stock radio and all that. This doesn't work. If you push it, it powers on, but no output from the stereo. So this we need to deal with up here. AC works fine, everything works down there, that's great. Since it is a manual transmission, there's the 5-speed. If you're wondering why there are pliers in the cup holders, it's because those are what I use to pull the fuse on the little panel over there. That little panel right there, so the battery doesn't drain. That's kind of what we're looking at in the car. Like I said, everything's stock, with the exception of like all-weather mats and whatever. The cubby here does not shut. I'd like to fix that, and all this will be coming out anyway to deal with the radio, so I'm not too worried about that. So inside is super clean, which is great. Because we have a starting space and we'll clean it after everything's done as well. Upgrades. So these are currently the stock bulbs and they work just fine, but I ordered LEDs for both of these, and we have LEDs for our passenger / cabin light. So everyone can see at night, or if you're putting stuff in the back, you can see at night because it'd be nice and bright. This something in the door, I forget exactly what it was replaced because you couldn't unlock and lock with your keys. That's been replaced, and the LEDs in the door are blue. And the reason they're blue is because I had some blue bulbs laying around, or blue LEDs laying around, and so I just threw those on, driver and passenger side. Just why not? I have them. They're not being used, so I just put them in. Things that I would like to address in here are just to a minimum. I do have a shift knob that we're gonna do. It's metal. I already tried fitting it. It doesn't line up. You'll see that in a different video. That's kind of sad, but it's weighted, so that'll be a little nicer in here. Just as a little thing I wanted to do. Ryan didn't really care for it, and nobody else will care for it, but I don't know. I just thought I would give it something a little different after 15 years. Oh, last final thing. Gas pedal has a flop to it. Let me open the door here so I can kind of get this from an angle. Let's see if I make it brighter. There we go. You see the gas pedal there? It kind of has a flop to it. So the flop is something I really want to address because it's kind of annoying when you're driving. Sometimes you feel your foot is on the pedal, but you're not actually on the pedal. That's another just minor annoyance, but I'd like to fix that. And that's really the only thing for the inside here. The trunk, we have a few different things. All right, let's talk about the trunk. Nothing pretty in here. These we will be touching because we need to know if we're upgrading. Well, we are upgrading these to LEDs, but we need to know if we're doing load resistors. That's about it for the brake light, reverse light, turn signals. We'll deal with over here. We also need to know if they need a relay. Things we carry in the trunk, just a portable jump start pack because this car does die, so due to the battery drain, so just need to have that on hand. We're gonna need a what do you call this? Trunk light, just so you can see all your stuff. And the current assembly I have is broken, and I think something is wrong with it, so I need to test if we get any output from this, just to make sure. Things that were fixed a couple years ago in this trunk is this crossbar for opening the trunk, because it would close and just hit you on the head really hard and it wouldn't stay open. So this has been fixed a while ago, so that's all good. For the LEDs, I just need to figure out if I need to do load resistors or if I need to get some sort of brake light relay separate from the turn signal flasher relay to work with LEDs. So that's something we're gonna figure out and come across. And so obviously a video might take a few days longer because I have to order something or whatnot. So things like that we just need to determine, but everything back here is pretty good. So before anybody asks, and I might still get a few comments, what tires are on here? So these rims were purchased separate from the car, and they were mounted when we got the car. Basically, they do have some rash, some curb rash and whatnot. They're not too bad. I don't think I'm gonna deal with that for now. I'll probably just try and clean out some of the areas that are like really dirty. Chris Fix also has a video on that, so I'm considering figuring that out as well, maybe just restoring some of these. But then again, don't really want to paint any of that or really deal with kind of that, because they work, they're fine. But tires, Goodyear Assurance Max Life, and these are 225/50 R17, and they're pretty fresh. They're very nice. They're going to be great for like things in the rain. So they're really grippy, good tread, and there are no plans to touch really wheels and tires for now, especially tires, because these are perfectly fine. So those are good. Side skirts are faded. They are plastic. I think we can clean them up and kind of bring those back, which would be cool. And so we're gonna give that a go. There are some scratches and dings here on like little bits of, you know, like the trim or whatever the heck, like scratches like that, kind of bigger. I don't know what I can really do about the mirror since it's plastic, but I do want to attack all the body panels. I think there's a little patch of rust right there that I want to deal with as well. A little dent or divot there, just little things all over. And the car is a little dirty right now. I did a good job of cleaning it up like a month ago. Just like a really good wash, but no correction, none of that. And so it stayed pretty clean, and it's just been dusty because it's been sitting for a little bit. But just, yeah, general scratches like that. There's plenty of them. There's like a little imprint dent right here that can probably just pop out a little bit and it'll be good. Bumper, I'm responsible for this. I did that, and it's scratched, so the whole bumper would need to be kind of refinished or redone, but that's not of concern. So front and rear bumper really don't matter. It's more about just the regular body panels. Scratches like that. Sap's on here as well, so we're gonna try and figure out how I can get that out, and obviously the paint video will cover that, what I'm able to do, what I'm able to not do. And so some of it also got on the rear tail light housing, and it's stuck on there. So there's that. Again, that's part of the bumper. More little scratches, a little bit of trim, you know, ripped off the paint right there too. So yeah, there are a few things, but I think most of this is doable, just to correct it to be in a nicer state. The door kind of trim is fading. Chris Fix also has some sort of video on doing that as well, so I might give that a go, I might not. Not really too sure yet how far we'll go with the paint, but just to bring it back to life, that would be good. And addressing this little rust spot here and kind of this whole dent thing, I don't know what to do with that. This was just because of the front license plate being on there, and I took it off because, you know, the car is going to be sitting back here for a while getting work done, so that's just going to be cleaned up and all nice, so when it goes back it's clean. More of a state of mind thing, but you know, just trying to take care of everything as a whole. So yeah, that's really it regarding the Honda for now. This is video one. Again, this wasn't really like a do anything video. This is more of kind of going over how it looks now, and you know, I shot like a little cinematic thing or whatever, showing all the little bits and things that are messed up. And so hopefully by the end of it, I'll have something to compare it to and then see where we get from there. So this is the kind of inside workspace. You guys will see a little bit of this footage if I'm doing something on the table or figuring it out versus kind of trying to do everything in the car. And I'll do some stuff outside as well, and you'll see that. But it's just me filming, so you know, depending on how I want to do things, you guys will see. But I'm gonna do my best to document absolutely everything that we do here. But for the work table, you know, voltmeter, things like that, I have a Honda key that's in pieces right here that needs to be reassembled to look like this. It does work, I just need the little metal bit. So that's another project. Just little things like, you know, the trunk light that I mentioned earlier. You know, taking a look at this assembly because I think it's messed up. Just things like that, and this is kind of the workspace for everything. I got all the detailing stuff here for the paint. We'll, you know, kind of go over that, what I got. Goodies here, LEDs to put in, shift knob, I don't know, anything else, LED turn signal flasher, we have that as well. But this is kind of the workspace, so if I'm pulling out the radio in an episode or a couple episodes from now, this is the space you'll see me working in, and kind of just seeing the table and seeing, you know, what I'm doing with things. I am by no means like some, you know, certified mechanic, so this is just me doing it. And so I don't necessarily recommend you follow my exact instructions, but rather kind of watch and see, you know, what I'm doing, so maybe you can learn from it. But I wouldn't take my word for everything 100%. You know, I'm still learning. I'm doing this, you know, kind of on my own and with the help of the internet and, you know, family and stuff like that. So I'm not, you know, going at it alone, you know, 100%, but at the same time, I don't know everything. So you can take what I have to say with a grain of salt, but I'm just trying to show you kind of, you know, how the series is going to go, how it started, and it starts with this video. So it's kind of an overview of everything. If you're looking forward to watching the 7th Gen Accord kind of transform just a little bit, you know, some very minor things, go ahead and click the subscribe button. There's a bell icon somewhere around the channel, subscribe button that you can push to get notified of new videos, and just watch for that playlist as well if you're just concerned for just the Accord stuff. But anyway, thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.